reasons I pursued it the last few years is that it gives you, there's an accessibility to it, and there's an availability to it that not many other media share. By that I mean, you can look at a lot of these works, and you can recognize advertisements or photographs or images that you've seen yourself in Time magazine or you've seen in the daily news or whatever. It's printed material that you have some connection with. Sometimes it's something as silly as celebrity culture, like there's Madonna in this piece over here. Sometimes it's more removed. In this case, it takes a more political turn. This is basically just two collages that are, two photographs that are collaged together. This is called W Baghdad, and my studio is filled with collage material along with painting supplies. I have like a library of different images and books, etc. But I got this catalog at the W Hotel, and basically this is an inverted image, and then here you have a newsprint photograph from a street bombing in Baghdad. And I think one of the strengths of collage is more often how it's used is straight juxtaposition. Put two images next to each other and you set up this tension. I feel like with most of this work I'm introducing so many other elements that it doesn't have that straight tension, but with this piece, just having the trappings really of privilege of this interior, this very sumptuous architectural interior, juxtaposed against this horrific act of terrorism, speaks to really what we face every day, living in a culture that's largely insulated from those acts of violence. Some of my work speaks to politics more. I would think of it at this point more socially and culturally minded. And with that, I'm going to turn to this last piece. This piece is the most recent. This is the only piece in the exhibition from 2012. It's called Moving On. I visited my parents about a month ago, and my parents are in the process of moving. They're packing all of their belongings up. And buried beneath all this geometry, you find these images of boxes. Something I'm moving more towards is working with photographs that I've personally taken and trying to investigate themes and investigate spaces that are more personal. There's a graphic quality to all of these works date from the last 3 or 4 years. And the great thing about collage photography, it has this very graphic dimension to it. But with this piece, I'm trying to be more painterly, and as John pointed out, this piece actually is comprised mostly of paint. There's actually relatively little collage in it. But there's something more ambiguous, I think, about this work, and something I hope as dynamic and engaging as the mixed media works. But this is the work, the most recent work, and it's the direction I'm going. So, again, thanks for this opportunity to show here, and I think that's about it. Are there any questions before we move on to Timothy?
This may be a very silly question, but how do you approach something like this? Like, how do you get started with this kind of work? Like, do you have something in mind when you start?
The left side of this happened second, and this side happened first. I actually started this about 6 months ago, and I was stuck. What you have here, this is from Life magazine. This is an interior of like an office from like 1955. This is from the W catalog again, but it's W New Orleans. This is from a photo journal about the Russian working class, like in the 60s. So, but it was setting up this architectural space where you have sort of an implied ceiling and you have these perspectival lines. But really this happened after this trip home. And I think it's the meaning is looser, it's more evocative. Corey mentioned you get a sense of memory in this piece. Also, just to briefly talk about the title of the show, through the vanishing point. I use the vanishing point perspective a lot of my work. So superficially, that's where the title connects with this body of work. But that title is actually the title of a book by Marshall McLuhan, the media theorist. It's from the mid-'70s. He talks so much about media, and so much of my work is engaged with media in some way, talking about advertisement or just different media that we experience in newspapers or print or online. So that's where the title comes from.